Have you ever felt it? That sudden, quiet shift in a room when you walk in? The gentle hum of conversation that fades just a little too quickly. The feeling of eyes on your back, not with curiosity, but with a cold, calculated weight. It's a feeling of being on the outside, separated by an invisible wall you didn't build, but one you can feel with every part of your being. It's a lonely, chilling sensation, and it speaks to one of our deepest human fears, the fear of being cast out. Imagine a vast, sun-drenched meadow. A flock of white sheep grazes peacefully, their wool like soft clouds against the green grass. The air is calm, filled with the gentle rhythm of their chewing and the occasional bleat. It is a picture of perfect harmony, of unity. Then, one day, over the rise of a hill, a single black sheep appears. It doesn't do anything threatening. It doesn't charge or challenge. It simply exists. It is different. And in that moment, the harmony shatters. The lead sheep, the strongest and most dominant of the white flock, lowers its head. With no warning, no provocation, it charges, ramming its horns into the side of the newcomer. A shock wave of silent understanding ripples through the flock. One by one, then in small groups, the other white sheep turn on the black sheep. Some do it to gain favor with the leader. Others do it out of a primal, confusing instinct to join the majority. A fear of what might happen if they don't. They become a unified force of aggression, and the meadow is no longer a sanctuary. It is a tribunal, and a verdict has been passed without a trial. This haunting parable is more than just a story. It is a reflection of a powerful and often painful social dynamic that plays out in our own lives, in our schools, our workplaces, and our digital worlds. Psychologists call this the black sheep effect, a phenomenon where a group will often turn on one of its own members with more viciousness than they would an outsider. It's the story of bullying, of social isolation, of mob mentality. Within this dynamic, there are always three roles. The innocent black sheep, targeted simply for being different. The lead white sheep, who initiates the attack to consolidate power or project their own insecurities. And the following white sheep, the silent majority who become accomplices through their action or their inaction. You may think the instigator, the lead sheep, is the most dangerous character in this story. But many psychologists would argue that the true, terrifying power lies with the followers. The leader may light the match, but it is the crowd that becomes the wildfire. Without their participation, the leader's aggression is just an isolated incident. But with their consent, with their collective weight, it becomes a crushing, inescapable reality for the target. It's a devastating truth about human nature. And as we journey through this together, exploring the deep psychological currents that drive these behaviors, we may come to understand the most unsettling truth of all, that the roles are not fixed. We have all, at some point, stood in that meadow, and the most important question is not what color our wool is, but what we choose to do when the charge begins. If this image of the lone sheep resonates with a feeling you've known, a time you felt on the outside looking in, then perhaps you've found a place to understand it. Take a moment to join our flock here at Mind Decode Explained. We journey through these intricate landscapes of the mind together, seeking not conformity, but understanding. Let's first step into the experience of the black sheep. The first blow isn't physical, it's the blow of confusion. Why? What did I do? The mind races, searching for a reason, a mistake, a flaw that could justify this sudden hostility. But there is none. The pain of the exclusion is rooted in its very senselessness. It's a direct assault on your sense of self, your right to belong. In a school hallway, it's not the one loud insult from a bully that truly breaks a spirit. It's the silent, agreeing laughter of 20 other students. It's the way classmates suddenly find the lockers on the other side of the hall, fascinating when you approach. It's the empty seat next to you in the cafeteria that feels larger and colder than the rest of the room. Each of these small acts of complicity from the following sheep is another horn, another blow, confirming the terrifying message: you are alone, you are worthless. In the workplace, the black sheep effect can be more subtle, but just as brutal. It's the brilliant employee who is suddenly left off crucial email chains. It's the colleague whose ideas are met with silence in meetings, only to be praised when suggested by someone else 10 minutes later. It's the quiet, systematic campaign of social isolation where a person is made to feel incompetent, invisible, and unwelcome. The lead sheep might be a manager threatened by a subordinate's talent, or a colleague consumed by professional jealousy. They initiate the exclusion. But it's the other team members, the following sheep, who make it unbearable. They see their colleague being ignored, and to avoid becoming the next target, they too look away. They choose the safety of the herd over the integrity of helping a fellow human. They might tell themselves it's not their business, or that there must be a reason for the treatment, a reason they just don't see. This self-justification is a crucial piece of the puzzle. It touches on a powerful psychological principle known as cognitive dissonance, a theory developed by Leon Festinger in the 1950s. Festinger proposed that we experience intense mental discomfort when we hold two conflicting beliefs, or when our actions contradict our beliefs. Most of the following sheep believe they are good, decent people. Yet, their action or inaction is contributing to someone else's suffering. This creates a dissonance, a mental static, that is deeply uncomfortable. To resolve it, the mind has two choices. Change the action, stand up for the black sheep, or change the belief. Changing the action is risky. It means standing up to the leader and the rest of the flock. So, the easier path, the path of least resistance, is to change the belief. They begin to subconsciously rewrite the story. Maybe she is difficult to work with. He probably did something to deserve it. She's too sensitive. They start to see flaws in the black sheep, whether they exist or not, because it justifies their complicity and resolves their inner conflict. It allows them to remain part of the herd and still see a good person in the mirror. They are no longer a passive bystander. They are a righteous participant in a justified punishment. And then there is the modern meadow, the most expansive and often the most vicious of all, the Internet. Here, the black sheep effect operates on a global scale and at terrifying speed. A person can become a target for a single tweet, a misunderstood comment, or for simply being who they are. The lead sheep might be an influential account that points the finger, but the following sheep are the thousands who descend in a storm of replies, quote, retweets, and hateful messages. This is where we see the bystander effect, a concept famously studied by social psychologists Bibb Latané and John Darley, in its most potent form. Latané and Darley's research, prompted by the infamous murder of Kitty Genovese, where numerous witnesses failed to intervene, revealed a startling phenomenon. The more people who are present during an emergency, the less likely it is that any one individual will help. This is called the diffusion of responsibility. In a digital mob, that responsibility is diffused into near infinity. Everyone assumes someone else will be the voice of reason. Everyone thinks their one single hateful comment is just a drop in the ocean, failing to see that the ocean is made of drops. The anonymity of the screen removes the immediate, human consequence of seeing someone's face crumple in pain. The following sheep feel powerful and safe, part of a vast, righteous army, never once considering the utter devastation being experienced by the human being on the other side of the screen. Now, let's turn our attention to the one who starts it all, the lead white sheep. What drives them? It's rarely about the black sheep at all, it's about them. At the core of the lead sheep's aggression is often a profound insecurity. They may fear losing their status, their control, or their perceived superiority. The presence of someone different, someone with a new idea, a different look, a unique talent can feel like a threat to the established order, and, therefore, a threat to their position at the top. This is where the work of Henri Tajfel and John Turner on social identity theory becomes so illuminating. They argued that a significant part of our identity comes from the groups we belong to. We naturally divide the world into us, the in-group, and them, the out-group. To feel good about ourselves, we need to feel good about our group. The lead sheep, by identifying and attacking an other within the group, performs a twisted but powerful function. They strengthen the in-group's identity. They are saying, "Look at this black sheep. They are not like us. We are defined by our whiteness, our purity, our conformity. To be one of us, you must reject them." It creates a false sense of unity, a bond forged not in shared values, but in a shared enemy. The attack on the black sheep is a spectacle designed to remind all the other white sheep of the rules of belonging and the price of deviance. It is a raw and brutal display of power, meant to keep everyone else in line. This dynamic dismantles a very common and dangerous misconception, that staying silent and blending in will keep you safe. The following white sheep join the attack or look away out of a deep-seated survival instinct. They believe that by aligning with the powerful, by becoming invisible in the crowd, they are ensuring their own protection. But this is a fragile and foolish piece. The core tragedy of the black sheep effect, and the lesson that is absolutely critical to grasp, is this: the hunger of the mob is never satisfied. Today, the target is the black sheep. But what happens tomorrow when the black sheep has been driven away or broken into submission? The group's identity has been forged in opposition, in attack. The leader's power is maintained through the creation of an enemy. The followers have learned that participation is the price of admission. The entire social structure is now dependent on having a target. So, when the obvious target is gone, the flock grows restless. The mechanism of aggression remains. The need for an other persists. And the lead sheep, to maintain control, will simply find a new target. And who will they choose? They will look for the next easiest one. The one who is slightly less white than the others. The one who bleats a little differently. The one who was perhaps a bit too slow to join in the last attack. The one who showed a flicker of hesitation. The terrible, unavoidable truth is that when there is no black sheep, the white flock will create one from amongst themselves. Your silence today does not buy you safety tomorrow. It only buys you a ticket to the next lottery, and you have no guarantee that your name won't be drawn. Hurting others doesn't protect you. It merely normalizes the very behavior that will eventually be turned on you. By participating in the persecution of the black sheep, You are sharpening the horns that will one day be aimed in your direction. You are teaching the flock that this is how we behave, that this is acceptable. You are reinforcing the very system of cruelty that requires a perpetual victim to survive. This is the moment of breakthrough. The aha moment where the entire picture shifts. The problem is not the black sheep. The problem is a sick flock. The danger is not in being different. The danger is belonging to a group that demands sameness at the expense of humanity. The solution is not to try and paint your wool whiter to blend in better. The solution is to challenge the very premise that a flock should only have one color. So, what does this mean for us, in our very real lives? How do we step out of these prescribed roles and break the cycle? It requires a different kind of courage for each role. If you find yourself as the black sheep, your journey is one of radical self-acceptance and boundary setting. The first and most crucial step is to internalize this truth. Their rejection of you is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of their dysfunction. It is not about you. It is about their fear, their insecurity, their need for a scapegoat. Do not accept the narrative they have written for you. Do not spend your energy trying to figure out how to be less you to please them. Your energy is a precious resource. Invest it not in trying to win the approval of a sick flock, but in finding a new one. Seek out the people, the places, the communities that don't just tolerate your differences, but celebrate them. The world is vast, and there are other meadows where multicolored sheep graze together in peace. Their strength found not in uniformity, but in diversity. Leaving a toxic group is not failure. It is the ultimate act of self-preservation and strength. Now, if you recognize yourself as a following white sheep, and if we are honest, most of us have been here at some point. Even in small ways, your path is the one with the most latent power. The leader can't create a mob alone. The entire spectacle crumbles without an audience, without participants. You hold the power to break the spell. Research on bullying repeatedly shows that when a bystander intervenes, the bullying often stops within seconds. You don't have to stage a grand confrontation. The courage can be quiet. It can be choosing to sit with the person eating alone. It can be speaking up in a meeting and saying, "Actually, I think that was a great idea. Could we explore it further?" It can be leaving a single, kind comment of support on a post being flooded with hate. It can be sending a private message to the target, saying, "I see what's happening, and it's not okay. I'm here for you." Each of these small acts is a crack in the foundation of the mob. You are not just helping the victim, you are reclaiming your own integrity. You are dismantling the very weapon that could one day be used against you. You are choosing to be an upstander, not a bystander, and in doing so, you are changing the entire moral calculus of the group. And finally, if you look deep inside and see a flicker of the lead white sheep, if you recognize a tendency to put others down to lift yourself up, your journey is one of introspection. Ask yourself, what fear is driving this? What insecurity am I trying to soothe by pointing out the flaws in others? True strength is not found in dominating others. It is found in the quiet confidence that needs no enemy to feel secure. It's the courage to lead not by creating division, but by fostering inclusion. It's the strength to celebrate the talents of others instead of feeling threatened by them. This path is perhaps the hardest, for it requires confronting the shadows within ourselves. But it is the only path to authentic leadership and genuine self-respect. We are not destined to live out this bleak parable. The meadow does not have to be a place of fear and judgment. We have the capacity for something far greater. We can choose to build flocks based on empathy, curiosity, and respect. We can decide that the measure of our group's strength is not how viciously it expels those who are different, but how warmly it welcomes them. The goal is not to be a flock of identical white sheep. The goal is to be a vibrant, resilient, multicolored flock, thriving not in spite of our differences, but because of them. So look around your own meadow, look at your own role. The next time you see a lone sheep being singled out, remember this: protecting them is the only true way to protect yourself. And the bravest, most powerful thing you can ever do is to be the one who walks away from the aggressive mob and stands, in solidarity, with the one who is different. That is how you change the world. One meadow at a time.